Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Steve Arterburn here. Dr. Sherry Keffer is also with me. Hello, Sherry. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. And I'm just excited to be here with everyone today.
Well, if anybody wants to be excited to be here with us, we're going to be here 2 hours. I think Dr. Jill will join us, and it is this phone number, 1-800-229-3000. I want to start by telling you about an event. It is on March the 12th, and the reason that I'm telling you about this event is that you have 2 days to sign up for the early bird special. This is a writer's conference, and if you've ever wanted to write a book, or you're stuck writing the book and can't get unstuck, or you've written it but you haven't gotten it published, wherever you are, Jerry Jenkins, who's sold 70 million books, Lee Strobel, he's sold, I think, 12 million or so, and Steve Arterburn, 15 million. We've got Abby Johnson, who, you know, she turned a book into a movie, the Unplanned movie. Dr. Walt Larimore, I think the total amount of books sold by all the presenters, and this is what makes it the ultimate writers' conference, it's something like 200 million books. And we've got people who are brand new. How did they do it? How did they go from being nobody to getting a book published? So many people, a Miss USA, we've got the Wolf couple, and you will absolutely love this conference. Wherever you are, there's something for you, and it's a pay-per-view live stream, and you give them, you sign up at their website, Liftable TV, /UWC, liftable.tv/UWC. Just put New Life in as the code, or if you talk to somebody, tell them you heard about New Life, and it benefits New Life. Jerry Jenkins said, if I wasn't in this conference, I would attend this conference, that it's so comprehensive, and it'll teach you how to write better, do the proposal, get the deal done, talk to agents. It's all right here. And New Life benefits from this. So I really hope and pray that you will join us. Lee Strobel, of course, you know, is famous for the case for Christ, the case for the Bible, all sorts of amazing books, and
so fun. It's like a hall of fame. And you know, Jill and I wouldn't even have books if it wasn't for you, Steve. I mean, that's
absolutely true.
You know, that you are an inspiration to so many, and we're glad that you're going to be there presenting and sharing and encouraging others to get their stories out there, because it changes lives, you know?
Well, I love helping people become published, because it's just one of the greatest experiences to go from, like me, in the 4th grade, I had to write a page because I didn't want to stay after school. So I was a writer, but to be a published author is such a great privilege. And I've given people a little formula for writing their book. And if you follow the formula, you can write it. It's just, I mean, I invented it, so it has to be simple. So anyway.
That's worth showing up for there.
Yeah, you get the formula. So if you need information that I haven't given you, just call us. But Liftable, let's see, make sure I get it right here before we go to this break. But you go to liftable.tv /Ultimate Writers, or UWC. It's the Ultimate Writers Conference, and the reason it's named that is it's the Ultimate Writers Conference. We'll be back right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. This past weekend we did Intimacy and Marriage there in Dallas, Texas, and it was really quite an experience. I always love getting to be face-to-face with people. We met so many new folks and folks that have been listening literally for years. And I have to tell you, if you ever get a chance to go, please do. It doesn't always help because people aren't always in a place that they want to do what we say to do. I give the example of when I did the age-inappropriate stunt on a skateboard and had to have 3 separate surgeries because of a little tear there in my ACL. I didn't leave the surgery thinking, I know how to do this now. I know how to take care of this. Now, I followed everything that doctor told me to do. And, if people will just trust us and do what we suggest afterwards, which isn't now go try harder, but get more help, see that counselor, build on what you've done, it really does make a difference. But oh my goodness, we saw so many great, wonderful breakthroughs.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave people nameless and faceless, of course, but there's some folks that I met at the Intimacy Intensive that we've done, and they connect in the waiting room from time to time. And both of those couples decided to take what they learned that weekend and then go deeper. And there's big changes that have happened in their marriages. And so what you're saying, Steve, is true. And it's so sweet when I see them. They just like, oh, hey, how, they connect because they connected that weekend. And but they're both really growing strong.
That's so good to hear. Doesn't always happen.
No, it doesn't always happen because some people are actually invested in not getting help. Under the guise of, oh, yes, I want to change. And that's difficult when it's one half of a couple. But we often break through that.
Yeah.
So that's the hope.
That's right. And we saw a lot of breakthroughs. And you also, you see that stubborn resistance thing. Right now, let's go to the calls. 1-800-229-3000. Bob's calling from Boyertown, Pennsylvania. He watches on YouTube, which you could be watching right now on YouTube if you so chose. Bob, how are you today, and how can we help you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, I'm 70 years old. How can I stop feeling like a failure and a loser all my life?
Okay, and just give us a little sense of what you think might be the reason you, of all people, feel that way at age 70.
When I was a little kid, I was verbally and physically abused by my father, verbally abused by my mother. At one time on my 8th birthday, my dad beat me up pretty good, and when I came to, he said, I don't even know why I put up with you. You're not even my blankety blank son. I've had 2 failed marriages, so I've had a lot of
let me
health
ask you
issues, a lot
this.
of knee operations.
All right, so what you described, the first thing, is such an indescribably painful trauma. What have you done on that to help you get over that first horrible abuse?
Went to psychiatrists and a couple counselors, and every time I talk about it, it makes me feel worse because I bring up the episodes again.
Okay. You've never done any trauma work then?
No.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, Sherry, and then we'll go to Jill and see if we can give you some help here, some direction that might once and for all help you.
Hey, Bob, your story breaks my heart that a little precious 8-year-old boy would have had to go through so much abuse and just assaulting the very essence and the dignity of who you are as a human being. I mean, do you know children that are 8 years old? If you can imagine for a second, Bob, the innocence of what an 8-year-old boy looks like, that was you, and yet both of your parents abused you. And it's not a surprise to me, and I just want you to know, Bob, that you are not alone. So often as I'm working with folks just like you, Bob, they get right up to those feelings, feeling the feelings as they're talking about that experience. And it's like those feelings scare them out of moving forward through the pain into a more truth-telling place for themselves. I look at it, there's a thing called debridement. I have a girlfriend of mine who's a nurse, and one night, and this was after dinner and dessert, we talked about something called debridement, where she works with burn victims, and she's got to go in and clean out that wound in order for that sore, all the pain that's happened because of the burn to heal. And what she said to me is, I always have to tell my patients that when I do the debridement, it's going to look worse, it's going to feel worse before it gets better. And I said, well, why do you have to do that? She said, because I've got to take out that tissue. I've got to get the pus out. I got to get that pain out so that it can heal. If I don't, she said, the skin will grow over it and it just stays abscessed. It can stay infected. And I said to her, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I do as a therapist. We've got to debride. We've got to go back in and dig out that pain. And it feels counterintuitive. But until you do that, Bob, that negative belief that I'm a failure, I'm worthless, I'm not worth, the time of day, that's what your dad said. That is going to stay rooted in your heart. And we don't want that for you. We want you to believe the truth, which is you can have hope. You can succeed. You can be a whole different person if you'll let yourself go through that painful experience and come out the other side whole.
Well, yeah, just to emphasize that even more, Bob, I think that's so true. And you're right. Just going and telling your story. I mean, even when people have healed, if you hit a wounded spot, you can still dig up some pain, right? Because healing isn't about it being like it never happened, but healing is moving through it and to the other side. So it's part of your story. It's not your whole story. That's not all of who God created you to be, is this, wounded child. It's something that happened to you in this really evil, broken, fallen world. And it's so sad because I just hear how your parents were so broken and so unaware and dumped so much of their shame onto you. And you have been carrying that for 70 years and living it out as if it were true. And that's the thing. We hear things when we're young and we want to keep our parents good, so we believe it. We believe that what they said was true, even though we can see there wasn't something right about them. And so I challenge you to maybe look at that and see maybe that doesn't belong to you.
What do you think?
It makes a lot of sense. But, after hearing that by the people that you love, we're supposed to love you, that you are like that and you smell and you stink and everything else. It's hard to get that out of your head.
Mm-hmm. And what's amazing is the Lord sees you so differently. You are priceless to him, and yet you weren't treated in a priceless way. You were abused. And like Jill said, we have to take the steps to rewrite, to heal that little boy that is 8 years old. I just want to encourage you to work, go back. Go back into therapy, and this time work to go rescue that little 8-year-old boy who's been stuck in space and time.
Sometimes we have to be the good parent to ourselves.
It's
and
true.
We have to recognize the pain. See, part of what keeps it alive is that child is screaming out to be seen and heard. And we do such a disservice when we want to quiet them, right? Mm-hmm. And so you need to hear that part of you, Bob, that you've been ashamed of. You need to love that little boy in you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to hope that you would let us connect you with a real live trauma specialist.
EMDR. Yeah.
And
therapist.
I'm going to hope that you would read.
Can we send Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers?
Yep.
Sorry.
I'm hope
do
that's
a plug.
where
No,
it's headed.
sorry, it's a good book.
Not going to be easy. I'll send you that. I'll send you Forgiving What You Can't Forget. I hope that'll help. And then I'm going to send you Every Man's Bible because, it's the best-selling men's Bible. I think it's going to be a great encouragement to you in the midst of all that repair work that has to be done. And I'm really sorry for what you've gone through. And it's just a great reminder for all of us that we need to base our feelings about ourselves on what God says about us, the Creator, not what other people in their sickness and in their shameful behaviors, what they say about us. Now, it's easy to say that, but if you're young and ever since you've been young, people are putting that into you, you can't just say, I'm not going to think about that. You have to do the work, and there are trauma specialists. I've benefited from trauma treatment because Sherry said I needed it, and I did it, and it helped. So call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we can help you find that, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And Bob, you're loved by God, and God is for you, and God is rich in mercy, and he is rich in grace, and there is nothing that he cannot wipe snow white clean from you. Nothing. All right, let's pray for Bob that he will experience the life that God has intended for him all along. Right now, I'm going to talk with Jenna from Washington, D.C., where I'm headed in just a couple of hours. Hey there, Jenna. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, Steve. How are you?
Excellent. What's going on?
Awesome. Thank you for taking my call today.
Yeah, sure.
So I've met you before. My husband and I went to the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop in July in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So my husband was actually in the air not too long ago, and I'll just kind of give you an overview of, our situation. My husband wasn't involved with pornography addiction before that stemmed from our marriage. Mm-hmm. And he did go to Every Man's Battle, and then he did do the work. But it started, he started becoming very angry and verbally abusive. And unfortunately, I had a 2-year physical affair on my husband for 2+ years, and he did find out about it. And I did own up to everything that I did. And, we are working through it right now, but his anger has really gotten in the way. We are separated right now, and his parents are not helping because they have completely blocked me out of their lives, and it has become a constant struggle. And his mentality is, well, you have to suffer these consequences because you did this to us and our family. So they have completely blocked me out of their lives. They want nothing to do with me. And my husband has told me that he feels like he's better than me because what he did wasn't as bad as what I did. So I'm feeling the shame every day of I'm not good enough. and what I did was so much worse. And I'm trying to help him in his pain. You know, I've been doing the work. I've been going to SA meetings regularly. I've been going to workshops, and I've been really trying to put in the work and to better myself. But where do you go when you have a spouse that constantly tells you, you know, what you did was so much worse? And it hurts. It really hurts.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you called us, and I'm really sorry for both of you. I'm sorry for you. And you know, when you hear things like this, you might wonder, well, where did all that come from? And then you hear about parents that have blocked you from their existence. It's kind of predictable that his response and all would be what it is. Well, give you some insight you might not expect right after this.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we are talking with Jenna. So, Jenna, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Before I turn this over to Jill and Sherry, I just want to comment on a few things, and then I'll let them clean up after me. But it's a problem when somebody that has a problem is blaming the other problem rather than just deal with their own problem. And so just a sign that he isn't in full recovery from his problem is him shaming you in any way. And then when we see how his parents have reacted to you, it all fits. Now, one of the things that's encouraging about your call is that you're getting help. Not just, I'm going to a women's luncheon every week. You're going to Sex Addicts Anonymous. Absolutely a huge, huge positive thing. You're saying, I need ongoing help. I want to work that program, and I don't care if I'm embarrassed or humiliated to do it. I'm going to do it. But that's not enough for him. So I think kind of part of your question is you're in this thing of, is it worse or not? Well, they're both really bad. Jesus said if you lust after somebody, that's adultery. Your husband didn't just lust after somebody. he had a sexually gratifying experience with the image of somebody. And so I think that's even more adulterous than what Jesus said was adultery in your heart. So I'm going to try to say it this way. Physical adultery is adultery, physical adultery. Lusting, sexual gratification with an image is a heart-level adultery. And if we know anything about the body, the mind, the spirit, the heart, it's all, okay, the physical thing is another level. It's kind of like when God said, or Jesus said, love God. Number 2, love your neighbor, but they're equal. Well, we don't want anybody having a physical affair. And no one ever drives somebody to a physical affair. That was your decision, or that was your lack of protection that did that. But it's kind of like the difference between 99 milligrams and 100 milligrams. They're both betrayal of each other, betrayal of God, and both need their own work on their side of the street. And you're doing your work, but it doesn't sound like he's doing the work.
Yeah, well, and Steve, it's not, you're right, it's not a competition of who has the worst sin. And this comes from different parts of you. Actually, having the physical affair is more, can be more relational. That doesn't mean it's okay, but it's more of a relational act, and it speaks to where your hunger was. Jenna, for your husband to be involved in pornography, that's really not relational at all. That's all about the self and self-gratification. So the wounds and the hurt and the acting out is different. Your husband's need to continually blame you, I agree. He's not working a program. Otherwise, he would be humbled, right? But his blaming you and somehow needing to make yours worse is his, certainly his hurt. And because you sound like you're a little stronger and farther along, and that maybe you're already doing this, I think it's important to hear his hurt and to say, okay, you need me to be the worst one. You need me to know how bad I hurt you. So tell me how bad I hurt you. And I can acknowledge that I hurt you, and lean into that with him. And once he feels heard, and maybe even at another time, then it's your turn, because you're also hurt. Just because he thinks yours is worse does not nullify what he did to you, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make himself not bad.
Hey, Jenna, I have a question. Did you know about his pornography use prior to your affair?
Yes.
Okay.
He actually had the pornography addiction before we got married.
Okay.
And, it stemmed from, his teenage years, so it was something that he was carrying into the marriage.
And did you think that once you got married, it would go away?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You know what, dear?
I thought it would all get...
I know. So this is the thing, is I would see you this way. I think you're a betrayed partner that healed broken. And there's a lot of us out there. In my book, Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal, I have a chapter, and the chapter is this: remember when sex was safe and skydiving was dangerous. I wrote that chapter because the whole chapter is about how betrayal hurts us sexually. And some of us pull in like a turtle. We get hyposexual, right? We don't have sex with our partner because we're scared. Some get hypersexual. They try to have a lot of sex in order to keep that person from acting out. But you're in the third category. That's when somebody is sexually reactive. Somebody doesn't heal from the betrayal, and they push back against the person who's been acting out, as if to say, hey, I'm hurting, and maybe this person will love me. Or, and it just gets us deeper into the pain and the hurt of what we're dealing with. So when we get back from the break, I'd love to just give you some thoughts around that.
All right.
Okay, absolutely.
Hey, listen, if you are thinking your sin's less than somebody else's sin, that's a sin.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. You know, we have a big old counseling network with therapists and counselors. We're about to launch our coaching network. And if you are a certified Christian life coach, even if you'd like to be, you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and learn about that. It's going to be unbelievably wonderful. A lot of times, you know, you really aren't at a place you want so much counseling. Maybe you've been with Sigmund Freud for 10 years, and now you'd like somebody to tell you what to do about all that, and that's where a coach can really help you there. We'll tell you more about that as we go along. But right now, we're talking to Jenna, and Sherry, you had a few more things you wanted to say to her.
Yeah, a couple things. So first off, I just want you to remember, number one, how Jesus treated the woman at the well, right? Because she was a woman that had lots of sexual wounds and had been on both sides of the coin. And he treated her with grace and acceptance. I just want you to see if there's any place in your heart where you can begin to see yourself that way. The other thing I want to tell you is I do want you to get a copy of my book. We'll send you it, but I really want you to read that chapter and begin to identify how your early betrayal wounds got missed. You didn't do the healing. And if you only focus on your affair and you don't focus on the betrayal trauma, you've got like complex issues, complex traumas going on here. And the very trauma of your husband and him feeling hurt by your physical affair, it's real. It's real for both of you. And I've sat with couples that have been just like you. And it's important that you do what Jill said, which is own it. Just own it.
Yeah.
And don't push back. Don't get into a, comparison, competition. Just say, you know what? I did. It's good for your soul, and it's the only language that he's going to understand. It doesn't minimize how his porn addiction actually, and your brokenness around that, you're not dealing with that together as a couple, caused you to, I believe, act out.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send her Intimate Deception, because I think that would be very, well, you said we would, so I want to follow up with that, and I will do it. But I just want to say one more thing. A lot of people don't know about my experience with martial arts. which is none, but Tai Chi or whatever it is, where
where's
they
Mylan
teach you,
when you need him?
I know, exactly.
What is that thing, where you're supposed to
Terry.
go with you rather than resist, you kind of go with the thing and then you turn it into something powerful. Okay, you get what I'm saying, you guys? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay.
We're floating with you,
All right,
Steve.
just go with me. All right, so rather than act like it wasn't worse, just say, okay, it was worse,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah, it was
Like, give him that.
okay, now what do we do? Okay, I mean, that takes you out of the competition, the argument. It was horrible, worse. Now what are we going to do? Okay, you got me. It's worse. And then, now here's what I'm doing because it's worse. I'm going to SA, I'm going to these workshops, I'm doing this stuff. And how about your less thing, the thing that you did that was just hardly, it wasn't even a problem hardly to you. What are you doing about that? Because I got to tell you something, that hurt too. Anyway, I think you get what I'm saying. Just get out of the fray, whatever it takes. But more than anything, whether you're him or you're her, you need to be in a healing, transformational process. And those parents, oh my goodness, what level of maturity is that? I'm telling you, what I like to hear is that somebody has a son and a daughter-in-law. The son divorces his wife, and the parents keep the relationship with the daughter-in-law because they said that's what they were going to do when the whole marriage occurred. And they don't make her the enemy. They don't make her the bad person because they've matured. And they might be able to be so mature to see that little Johnny maybe had the problem, not the daughter-in-law, versus erase her.
Right.
From
Well,
your
Steve, he learned how to be non-relational from his
did.
parents, right?
Very well. He was a good learner. Good learner, wasn't he? So sad. Let's go to Beth. Dallas, Texas is where Beth's calling from. Hello, Beth. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you
Good.
doing?
Doing all right. Yeah. How can we help?
Our family has it's my granddaughter. She's 13, and she has developed a pattern of disrespecting others' boundaries and becoming defiant in certain instances, to the point it's not just we've all read the boundaries books, and those are wonderful, and implemented the consequences and some of the suggestions in those books, but this has escalated to the point that she is stealing from primarily family members. So there's a broken trust and a real frustration of how do we allow this child to open times in the home, and we're all feeling like we're in lockdown when she's around.
Okay,
because you don't know what she's going to take.
Is it your son or daughter that is her parent?
This is my oldest daughter, who she will listen to this call. I told her I was going to call today because we're at our wits' end. She's extremely over the top and frustrated. This has been going on for off and on probably for a year to 2 years, but it's really escalated recently.
And what is her strategy? What has been her strategy to turn this around in the 13-year-old?
She's been in counseling for about a month. She has pointed out to the 13-year-old, did you realize that was mine or that was your sister's, and you need to ask? Yes. So she's confronted her with what's going on, and then she's taken consequences. You lose your electronics, whatever's appropriate, or you can't go somewhere, those types of things. She's lost family time, depending on the infraction and what's happened. Just recently, her dad had allowed her to use his credit card for a certain online purchase, and after that purchase, she ran up charges about $700, ordering all kinds of things, and even to the point she ordered family members' purchases, ordered her mom some treats.
And so what did they do when she did that? What did they do?
She lost her electronics, no more electronic privileges.
Uh-huh.
She was required to earn money. She's 13. She can't get a job, but we all tried to find things that she could do to pay back the $700 to Dad's credit card.
So I'm a little confused. Why would her dad, if there's issues of stealing, why would her dad give her the credit card? Is there like some challenges in parenting? Like, is your daughter and your son-in-law just in different spaces in light of what to do with their daughter?
Well, because it's not consistent every day, and this, in spite of the defiance at certain moments, she is one of the most easygoing. She would give you the shirt off of her back.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I said to you, my son took the car, stole the car, and took it all, and he doesn't even have his license, and then I bought him a car. You'd say, what? That doesn't work. That it just makes no sense whatsoever. So,
and I'm not even getting the answer. Could you kind of let me know just what? Because I didn't really understand. Are they different parenting styles? Is one more liberal and one more strict?
No. I don't think that. I think that this child historically, until the last, say, couple of months, until the stealing on the credit card, she would go through long periods of no makeup being taken, because these weren't large items up to this point of the $700. So you would think, okay, she, had the consequences. She's learned. She's a sweetheart to be around. So you're just not on alert. You think the child is, maturing and growing, and there's no reason to be alarmed. And then, bam, it's just escalating out of control now. And the $700 put Mom and Dad on alert that this won't.
Right.
She has to be guarded at all times. So now they are aware. This is really serious.
So Beth, we're hitting up against a break, but I'm wondering about issues of loss in this child's life, issues of jealousy, possible ADHD, entitlement, impulsiveness. How does she feel with her peers? How does she fit in? Where is she in the lineup of her siblings? Is she jealous of her older siblings? What's happened in this child's...
You just hit on something that really makes sense. That hasn't really pinpointed before. She has an older sister who is absolutely beautiful, and her and Mom are just alike, and they're both very neat. They're both orderly. Yep. They think on their feet.
Yeah.
And
so this child feels like she's lacking.
17.
Yeah, she's 13.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
She's lacking. She's 13. She's at that awkward stage.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography. It might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we've got some final words here for Beth. And Sherry, why don't you start, and then Jill. Just what does she need to do to provide the most help in this situation?
So, you know, it's really funny. It's counterintuitive. And working with foster kids who did some of the same behaviors, there were two ideas. One was we often move at giving kids time out in order to try to punish or correct. But what Jill just brought up, there was another philosophy that is called time in. That we need to get closer to that kid. We need to understand what is going on in their heart. We need to encourage them in their uniqueness. I mean, can you imagine having a mom and your oldest sister looking alike, and you feel like, you know, the different ugly duckling or whatever? You just can't compete. There's no competition. And it can set up so many hurts.
And no awareness that you'll get there. Right? Because 13 and 17 look very, very different. And if she's impulsive in some of these things, she's emotionally immature as well. And we know young girls develop at different rates. So yes, this kid is needing attention. She needs the boundaries. You don't give the credit card. You don't trust where it hasn't been earned, right? But it's not in punishment. It's in adding the guardrails, adding the guidelines and the guidance for her, and you draw in and you start spending more time with her.
You said during the break, Jill, mom and daughter time.
Mom and daughter time, for sure.
And daughter
but I
time.
think also, you know, dad and daughter time, grandma and daughter time. Like, give her some attention, right? Because this is what she is doing with all of this.
Yeah, not negative attention only, but positives.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and it's not okay what she's doing, and I think the talking through is good. And we also talked about daughter needs to go to therapy too. This is not an okay way to continue, but we're going to love on you through this.
And I would say one more thing. Don't make her the black sheep. So often kids like this get on
the
a
problem
roll.
child.
Yeah, and then they kind of live with that legacy way too long, and it just builds on itself. So she's a hurting child.
My 2 cents is that you, as the mother, would say to your daughter, the sooner you and your husband could accept some responsibility here, rather than make the child the black sheep or point out how crummy this is all gone, then the sooner perhaps you would both genuinely get help for yourself, so that you're not doing things like giving a thief a credit card or things of that nature. I just think that when you got to start over, and you start with the foundation, the parents. Now, things that are going on in the counseling that are happening with the granddaughter there, they can support them and be part of the transformation. Otherwise, they're just always going to be separate and apart. You know, she'll have a better relationship with her therapist than with the parents. It's got to all work together. Well, if you're on the line, if you hold on, we'll do another program after this. But I want to tell you, there are things that we do, and we've been doing them a long time, and one of them was the weekend we just had for marriages. We'll do another one right after the first of the year. But Every Man's Battle happens every month. And it's not just all about pornography or something like that. Here's what one guy said. He said, I was able to forgive my dad from his attempted suicide when I was 15 years old. That changed my life forever. And I was able to forgive my mother for years and years of prescription drug addiction that led to her early death. And now I've got to ask for the forgiveness that I need from my wife for all the pain and the grief that my addiction and my behaviors have caused her. That's very different than trying to figure out if my spouse has done something worse than me. He needs forgiveness. He wants her forgiveness. He feels bad about addiction and behaviors. Not, I got to explain to her that all this happened because I had an addiction. No, he wants forgiveness. There's so much healing that takes place at one of these Every Man's Battle weekends. And you may be riddled with shame, think that you wouldn't benefit, but if you're struggling with lust and pornography, an affair, or the aftermath of those, we can help you to heal if you'll call us. And then the other thing is, if you are married to someone and you know they need this, and you've been tolerating it, and you realize it's time to quit doing that, call us and we'll help you get him motivated and inspired to get help for himself. The number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Some of the people that come are there only because someone provided a scholarship. And many of those scholarships are provided by people who've been before. They want somebody else to experience it. If you can help us, help others, please do. Please call us and say, I want to be part of the giving family of New Life. And then everything that we do from there on out, you're part of it because you're us. And I've got 2 books. You can pick which one you want. Understanding and Loving Your Child with ADHD, or Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Smokes Pot. Either you could use it, or a friend needs it that's having trouble with a child, or one of your children could benefit from that book. Either of those books. It's part of a new series we've got, and we'll have the rest coming out soon. That's just our way of saying thank you. And don't forget about Club New Life. We need you to sign up. It's $30 a month, and then you become part of thousands of people. We pool a little bit a month, and it really adds up. And it's one of the reasons that through COVID and all of this, and just got out of the summer, this has been just one of the best years in the history of this ministry. If you look behind me, if you're watching, you can see little birthday decorations, because we just last week celebrated the 33rd birthday of the beginnings of New Life. And we are so thrilled that God has allowed us to continue to do this. As I said at our weekend gathering in Dallas, we love hurting people. I mean, not hurting them. We love people that hurt, and we want to help you, and we don't want to make you feel better. We want you to transform your life so that you feel so much better about the future, so much better about yourself down deep inside. And then the feeling better is something that lasts. That's what we want for every person here. So please help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We don't have time for another call, but Jill or Sherry, anything that you'd like to say. By the way, don't forget, Jill's book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, should be required reading for every angry, bitter human being in the world. And Sherry's book, Intimate Deception. What a healing book that is. And if you have been deceived, betrayed, this could be the healer for you. Anything you guys want to finish out the program?
I think we might want to send Beth the Understanding and Loving Your Child with ADHD.
Let's do it.
I have an inkling that's
it'll
probably
help.
true.
There's just some principles there that help in every situation.
And you know what? I just remember a time with my older sister. I was a middle kid where I started taking stuff from hers. And you know what I was looking for? Comfort. I think I just wanted comfort that I wasn't getting. And then guess what? She helped me get a credit card. What did I do? I ran it up to the top. So I don't know. I just feel for parents when they're dealing with us as kids, because there's always something. All behavior is purposeful. We're all looking for something.
It all has meaning, right?
Yeah.
And that's a parent's job, is to find that meaning.
Figure it out.
And I relate to that 13-year-old. My older brother was handsome and brilliant, and I was not. All right, 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.